Do you?
All right.
Awesome.
It is 6:03. It is Wednesday night. It's Real Unfiltered Talk. I'm James Bryan alongside the two-time world champion bass angler. No, it's not my guy on my left. Let's go two to my
Yay.
left, two to your right. Mr. Dion Hibden. Dion, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing wonderful.
You know what? I'm
Been a
like
good,
10
good week.
I'm like 10 kinds of mad at you.
No,
That's right.
that's not a good way to start the show.
Well, step one. That's good to see you, Amy. You're in the house. I got Amanda in the house tonight. We got
Yeah.
all the girls here,
Yeah, everybody's here.
and our girls that watch the show. The fat
And our-
guys on O-Road are here tonight. It's good. Chief's here. It's all good. Lloyd's here.
That's right.
It's a great night to be here at the lake.
Rod's not here.
Rod is
Where's
not
Rod
here,
here?
but Rod doesn't count. Rod's third stringer. You know, he's a third stringer. He's
He'll
just down their way. And I forgot Kurt.
He'll get docked for missing.
Big
That's
Jim's
right.
not here.
You don't count either. So,
Williman.
today I went to Sedalia, and which is about an hour here from Lake of the Ozarks, and I got a phone call from Dion, and guess where he was going? He was going to Sedalia too.
That's right.
Did he say, "Hey, I'm going to be there too. You want to have lunch? You want to go grab something to eat? You know, hey, maybe we get together?" No.
You sounded like you were damn occupied when
I
I,
was
talked to you.
I was pretty busy, yeah.
Okay.
But
You were
Doesn't
playing
matter.
with your sausage or
He
something
wasn't-
like
yeah,
that.
He was on the meat run.
I was
Yeah.
playing with my sausage.
Well, I
That's-
mean-
that's good.
When you talk meat run and
Yeah.
messing with your sausage, I just bow out as quick as
had-
I
I think he got sausage in his eyes
can. Yeah.
because he had to go
I
to the
bet he
eye
did.
doctor too.
I had to go to the eye doctor. I can't see anything. Thank God. You know, and I don't even know if I should say my doctor's name on the show, but he listens very
He's
good.
A loyal listener, yeah.
That's right. So I realized he
Absolutely. We only got 3 of those, so you better mention his name.
no, I'm not going to mention Desmond's name.
Desmond's name.
So I can't do that. But I had an eye appointment at 8:00.
Desmond who?
Desmond Carl.
Oh, okay. Now.
Desmond
there you
Carl.
go. That's
so I
better.
went
I'm
and
glad,
said it. So
I'm
Desmond,
glad I
when
pulled
you
that
hear
out of
this,
you.
please understand I love you. Don't take this the wrong way. But I had an eye appointment at 8:00 this morning, so I hustled to get down there. You know, here at the lake.
Well, this is all a bunch of bullshit.
No, it is.
Yeah,
But
it's a whole bunch of bullshit
Stop.
because you didn't have an eye appointment until Desmond ordered 25 Hibden Hammer jigs.
okay, so that's true.
And you heard me talking to Desmond, and you jumped in the middle of my conversation
That is true.
and made yourself an eye appointment. So it's a bunch of bull,
That is true.
and then you got everything all together.
So Desmond is a big Hibden Hammer jig guy.
So why are you mad at me? You sold some jigs. You got your eyes fixed.
I'm not done with you yet. Hold on.
Oh,
I haven't got my
okay.
eyes fixed yet.
Just
We're-
because I
we're
didn't
skipping there. No,
offer to take you to lunch.
hold
I mean,
on.
See, we just get her stirred up.
So
Yeah.
I get there at 8. He didn't look at my eyes until 8:40. You know why?
talking
'Cause
fishing.
We had to talk fishing for 40 minutes while I'm sitting in the chair.
There you go.
And so, yeah, so we had this big conversation about, about how great these Hibden Hammer jigs are and how the hooks are good and da-da-da-da-da. Talked about live scoping. We talked about the show. We talked about all this stuff. And I was almost to the point I'm like, hey, D, the other D, I can't see, So
when
we need,
are we going to get to the business at hand?
that's right. So then I had to meet with Mr. Shemeka of the sausage company. So I had to go meet with him. And then you called and said, hey, I'm going to be, why did you, the first time, I don't even know why you called.
I want to make sure we're still doing
That
it
we're still
tonight.
doing the show
Yeah.
tonight. That's right.
What?
But
I was
then,
on the road. Then
so-
I remembered that.
There's been posts
So here-
everywhere, all conversation. because
I
of the
remembered
great
that the
guest
boss,
you
the
got.
boss was going to be on the show, and I thought,
So-
oh,
So
daggone.
here's the next one. I didn't tell you this. So he calls me back and he says, I have a tech question for you. Are you in the car?
no.
Okay, so
No, I was
he
all by
calls and
myself.
says, I have a technical question for you. You said, what's the number for information? Okay? And I had to
was-
think about it for a minute because I thought,
And
we
he
have...
didn't know. He didn't know
No,
me
I
at
didn't
all.
know. I had to look it up. But here's why. Obviously,
411.
information is called Siri now.
And you can't. Yeah.
Hey Siri, what's the number for this? Hey Siri, what's the number for that? So I had to look it up, and there still is an information line. Did you know that?
Yeah.
411.
411.
Did it work?
No, it didn't.
It's
Because
star
you
411.
Get my phone.
Yes, you can't dial it that
Yeah,
away.
star
You have
411.
to push star 411.
I didn't clear that because I thought that was a known for you. And look at that. No,
But-
I would not. Siri.
But-
Cancel.
But I'm
now
gonna,
my phone's starting to do stuff.
but I'm going to tell you right now. That's the first thing I told my wife when I got her in the car to come down there, is that I figured out how to use the internet so I got the phone number all by myself. I was very proud of myself. You know,
That's-
I'm like, look at this. You
That's
know?
a big deal.
Yeah.
Of course, Dion's as blind as I am, so his phone is
That's
different than
right.
mine because the letters are like 7
Yeah.
inches tall, so he can only read
Yeah.
like 3 letters on a screen at a time. So he's scrolling,
I have to
read the word.
scroll. I have
Hey,
to-
can you?
I have to scroll to get a whole phone number on there. Yeah.
That's right. So that was our day going back and forth on the phone. So
Speaking of eye doctors, yeah.
speaking of eye doctors,
That's
yeah.
right.
So it turns out I need glasses,
Do you?
which
Well,
I
there you
had
go.
glasses, but I need stronger ones. So is what it
that
is.
old line. Turn your head and cough.
That's
you
right.
need glasses.
So in case you guys haven't noticed, there's a new guest in the middle of the store, and we talk about him all the time. I got my old man, my papa, Mr. Ed Bryant's on the show tonight. Ed, thanks for finally coming on after 2 seasons. Appreciate it.
And you know what? There's some more bull. Because I had to just finally say, I'm coming on the freaking show
That's
next
not-
week.
that
it's
is
not
a
true.
bold-faced
That is
lie.
not true. We've
No,
asked,
I
like,
That
oh
is a
no.
lie.
He would
It
say,
was- I've
um,
got a couple of assholes
um,
sitting beside me.
I'm
Wouldn't let me
not-
on the show.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey,
No.
I'm just gonna do it this week. I have a lot of stuff to say.
They wouldn't let me on the show.
And then
They
tonight
were afraid I was going to just
He's
blow
already-
away or
and
whatever.
he brought his own props. He brought his stuff. He's all excited. So this is gonna be like a multi-parter. But as with all anglers,
Here we go.
I pulled up the stats.
Oh, there you go.
Because
Here
we
you
have
go.
to,
What
right?
are you laughing about?
Here it comes.
See, now you're still on
Now-
No,
that
I
here's
know.
crazy.
I know that where it's going to go
I think there's a glitch.
here in a minute.
I think there's a glitch in the matrix here. So, fished the Toyotas in 2003, fished 3 events. Fished Kentucky Lake, Pickwick, and Rayburn. 207 accumulated points, no earnings, but did fish 75th on Kentucky Lake. That's back in the day when there was 200 boat fields. That's not horrible
That's
bad.
yeah, that's not bad.
142nd on Pickwick, 179th on Rayburn. But then it showed him as a boater for the BFL in 2006 on Table Rock and Lake of the Ozarks. Is that right?
No.
It showed you that you fished as a boater on Table
Huh,
Rock.
No, I did.
But you zeroed.
I
So, like, no
zeroed.
points. Broke down or something?
Yeah, I was in your boat.
Go with that. Always,
I was in your boat that you bought from Hibnan's that broke down.
always,
Gotcha.
always go with that. Mechanical failure.
I have never fished a BFL on Table Rock, so I wasn't even there.
Yeah, I remember I did that because I was throwing wiggle wart down by Ants Creek, and the guy that was with me was.
We don't need the full story. You didn't
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, you didn't win.
No, I didn't even catch a damn.
I don't
fish.
think he even weighed in because it had a big DNF across it, not even like 200. It was just like 0. And then 138th on Lake of the Ozarks as a boater on the MLF trail. Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't, and there's never any good histories out there for crappie fishing, but well
Yeah.
accomplished on the pro side, on the crappie side. Numerous top 10s, numerous big fish, did very well on the tour for a few years.
We did.
But I don't think you ever captured a big W on those either.
Now,
No.
who was your partner in those?
The Law Dog next
The Law
door.
Dog.
Oh,
He was-
yeah, I
yeah,
forgot.
Andrew.
Big
Sorry.
Dog Rankin.
Yeah.
That's back when spider rigging was cool.
Yeah.
There's been
And-
many, many times in my bass tournaments over the years. I wish I was fishing with my lawyer, but never happened that way.
Fishing with who?
I always, yeah, I screwed that up many
You
times.
say, what'd you say?
I wish I'd been fishing with my lawyer many, many
Lawyer.
times.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, lawyer.
Lawyer.
Yeah,
Lawyer.
Sorry.
Gotcha. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
not Jeremy lawyer.
Got it. No, we
no,
got it.
No, really,
You know,
You
there
know.
was a good. There was a
somebody
good
who
story that
specializes in
came
the
out of,
legal field.
You know,
yes,
Lawyer.
yes.
Andrew
Hey.
and I would kick everybody's ass in our group, like James and Trav.
That's what I mean. They were all
And-
afraid of you guys.
Yeah,
the
we-
two of you.
But, you know, I think the highlight of my career was when they were weighing in at, it wasn't Captain Ron's, it was, I think, at Deer Valley. And, man, Andrew and I we absolutely killed them. We
Where
had
at?
'em. Deer Valley, here at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Right.
Deer
That was also
Valley.
where you got DQ'd.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
You got to
that.
get in that mic.
We came
Scooch up.
we came in all happy because we had big fish, and at that time you went into the weigh-in line and you had to weigh your fish, get your fish checked to make sure they were alive. So the guy checked them; they were alive. We went right on to the next guy, and that was the guy that would take your fish, put them in the basket, get you ready to go to the weigh-in. We got all through all that, and as we were getting ready to go up the weigh-in, Travis Bullock said to he said, "You got some good fish?" I said, "Yeah," and opened it up, and he looked in there and said, "Huh, you've got 8 fish in there." I went, "Oh,
He'd already went through pre-check.
I'd already went through pre-check.
They missed it too.
They missed it.
He was getting ready to go up on stage.
I had already
his
went
string.
through 2 checks, and I'd look at that and I went, "Oh." So I take my 8 fish and I go up on the stand and I say to the weighmaster, "Please don't embarrass me." I said it quietly, "but I have 8 fish in here." And he went, "Really?" I said, "They checked them, but let me through." He went, "Oh, okay." So he weighed my fish and he quietly said, 0.
Yep, 0 the scale. So
And-
yeah, but you know the thing is, if you make it through, and I guess it comes back to, we talked about this a lot about that phantom fish that holds in your live well last week. You know, it's like
Uh-huh.
they apparently can make it through all the way to the stage. But I think I'm going to be kind of the ass of the group. I would have weighed them.
Oh,
I would have weighed them. I would have took that money.
I'm going
They
to tell
let
you.
us weigh
No,
'em,
I wouldn't
but
have even come clean.
I shouldn't have
The
said
moral-
anything.
the
you
moral
had
of
the
this-
sports, you
the
had the
moral of this
sportsmanship
story
line
is-
to you.
Travis
I
Bullock's
would
not
not
allowed
have
in the
had
store
that
no
time.
more. I mean, just
Yeah,
kick his ass right out.
yeah. I would have said, shut your mouth, Travis. I'll spot you 100 at the end.
That's
We're
right.
done.
Yeah.
You know, but we're going to cash out on this one.
That's
because
right.
because and this is, you know, it's not cheating. You know, what I'm saying, it's not cheating. If you go through
They
the
passed
live
you.
well check
Yeah.
and they clear you, it's on. So that's, you know, or is it?
Oh, no, that'd be a bad deal.
Would you come clean?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Man, I don't know. I just,
yeah, I probably
It
would.
would be
but-
harder with bass.
Yeah, it's not as easy with bass because there's only 5.
that's
yeah.
right. It'd be
You got-
very
you got that many
noticeable.
fingers,
Yeah.
so you-
Pulling 'em
When
out
you
of the
hold them up for
bag and
pictures,
any
and they all
moron
kind of
can-
go,
Huh.
he's not holding up the big one.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
obviously because he's about
8.
5 pounds off there.
8 and 7, and
Let's move on.
I
Move
fished.
on. Move
I've-
on.
I fished one crappie. I
Easy.
fished one crappie tournament in my life, and I told my dad, I'm like, I'm never doing that again. That's too much work.
It's hard.
Oh yeah, culling through all them fish and different
Yep.
things through the day. Like the hell with that. That's too hard.
Yep. So you
Yeah.
gotta you gotta relax because you can come back again.
I had,
You can consider to win on
It's
our
all right.
part, okay?
Yeah.
If that helped you out any, your co-host for the night, we consider that a win. I mean, you know.
That's right.
still haunts me.
Yeah,
Still haunts me.
Haunts me.
your careers have forever been altered.
I
Yeah.
still, you know,
all,
and
all these trophies around here all belongs to your dad, except for the one,
Except
the
for,
Bassmaster Classic trophy.
except
That's
for
yours.
one or two. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
All these beautiful trophies all around us here in the Liar's Lair,
That's right.
Li-
except for one little section over here that's got my trophies in it. My like 6 trophies.
That's right.
And
one's participation.
it's like tainted. One is
Participation.
they're tainted.
Thanks for fishing with us. It's one of
Yeah.
those.
My Big Fish Awards. I was
Yeah.
like, they called me Big Fish Ed for 3 years.
Yeah, that's true.
that's a
But
prize.
that big fish at Stockton when we ran Philip Haynes over the.
Do you remember that when Philip was on the show and we were talking about how we lied to him?
Oh, yeah.
How
Yep.
we fished in a different
That
spot.
was
He's still a little red about that.
Yeah,
he
is.
was pissed. Yeah.
I had big fish of the tournament in that tournament.
Oh
too.
my God.
That was yeah, he still beat us, but
That just rubbed
they had
salt
big
in the
fish.
wound there.
Oh, that was good
It
times.
was great. Okay.
That was good times.
Yeah.
So I didn't
yeah.
win squat in bass fishing.
So I
But, yeah, now the other hand is also, old Dad was following along behind you.
no. You were in front of us.
No, in the bass stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a so
Yeah.
we're gonna go down the
We're gonna change the story.
we're gonna go down the Toyota Road now. This is good stuff. So when I decided to fish, and this is kind of how the Hibdens and the Bryants kind of all intermingled a little bit. I wanted to fish as a pro. Stella took me in as she did many anglers, and told the boys without question that they were going to help regardless if they wanted to or not. Guido was great. Dion was an ass, but he did help. You know, reluctantly he helped, and we went out on the road.
Well,
I bought a boat from you.
Can I back up just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Okay. James, what most people don't know, before he was a fisherman, was a NASCAR Winston Cup late model stock car driver and owned a car. His mother absolutely hated every minute of it.
She hated it whenever I go-kart raced
She hated go-karts.
because I flipped a go-kart once and landed on my head, and she didn't want me to race anymore after that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it did explain. It does
you know,
explain a lot. But
when those cars come
so we went
screaming,
from karting to NASCAR dirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just how it works.
So when those cars go screaming around, come into turn 4, and they've got them all cranked up, Joyce and I were at Sedalia State Fair track. He was racing in it, and about the third track lap around, he comes around, he's screaming up through there past the flag. I look over at his mom, and she's got these tears running down her face, and she goes, "I'm freaking done. I can't do this no more. You do something."
True.
So
Well,
we had started our company, and so the bottom line was, when he decided he wanted to fish, I said, "That's great. Let's buy you a nice bass boat. We got a new Suburban. We'll
Yep.
haul you around the countryside, but you got to quit racing."
Yep.
And he bit.
yeah, it was good.
But
that and I had a baby on the way too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the two combined, kind of mocks nix the whole racing
somehow
thing.
the Hiptons came into our lives.
Yeah. Well, that was. I'll tell you how it came in. And I don't know if I ever told you this story or not, but we used to have this little gift shop out north of here a little bit, a few miles out of town. We manufactured framed artwork, and we had like an outlet store. And Dad and I were talking about fishing the trail. We're going to go out and fish. And I always say this Barbara Bush looking gal come rolling in, she's white hair, and she's like, "What are y'all talking about?" It's like, I don't know who she is, and she's like, "Well, I'm Stella Hibden," and I thought like of the family group, and she's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Holy shit, come and sit down." So she started saying, "Hey, listen, I can cut some corners for you and show you how to get there a little bit easier, because the fishing is the easy part. Getting there to location, hotel rooms, registrations, getting like actually in the tournament trail is tough." And so she kind of got engaged, right there, and just like, for reasons I can't explain, took us in under the Hibden wing, and away we go. Which I found out later, 20 years down the road, they did it to many, many, many anglers, and you did.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
it was cool.
my mom and dad were a strange breed.
Yeah, it was cool.
And when I say that, I don't mean that any other way than I said it. They were a strange breed.
If
Not
you hear stories,
not like most people in this day and age.
Yeah.
right? If you hear stories about, hey, if you went to the Hibden dinner table and had fish and talked fishing, you were kind of under the umbrella. I got to
Yep.
do that once. It was cool. I couldn't eat any walleye.
You were kind of a dick.
I
You
didn't have
like
no
it.
choice. I was raising 3 kids at that time.
No, you weren't a dick. It was fun. So we just like making fun of it. So
I
anyway,
had to be somewhat of a dick.
So we
I
got-
was raising.
You
I was
got our-
raising 3 boys that were.
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, right.
so we got our equipment, we got our crap, we got some direction, we got into the trail, and Dad decided he's going to travel as a co-angler. That was the second year, I think. The second year, 2003. It was 1001. The third
2000.
year. The third year you decided to go, because you were working in the. We were
I had
busy.
to stay back and work.
Yeah, we
and
were
make
busy, but
money.
the third year he decided to go. So he signs as a co-angler, and away we go. And let me tell you something. The funniest shit I've ever seen in my life is watching my dad draw guys fishing pro, because there's always that guy. And I'm going to start and tell you guys a story, and I'm going to let Dad finish it from his perspective. So, Kentucky Lake, I blow a power head, and that was back in the days when they all blew up. Got a new motor, we're breaking it in, everything's chaotic, and he draws a guy the first day who was a local, and we were kind of talking about how exciting it is, because you got a guy that knows the lake, and it's all good. And if you've ever fished a tournament before, especially a boat with there's 200 boats in the field, they're all jammed up together, and they're all kind of staging around. It's all good. And I was like boat number 80, and he was boat number 10. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get to see my dad take off, because it's nice to see which way they go. It's like you always want to keep an eye on things. So they start calling off the boats, and everyone starts firing up, and I see they call boat 10, and I see them all wave.
This was the second day of the tournament.
Second day. Fair enough. Doesn't matter. But second day.
It kind of
And yeah, it does, because you were in
6th place.
6th place going into day one, which I said earlier he was in 75th. He was in the top 10 the first day. So he draws this guy. His local is pretty excited. So I see the boat take off on plane. It goes past the wake buoys, and it shuts down. Boom. And it just sits there. So I'm watching, and they're sitting there, and I can see movement. And by the time boat 75 rolls around, they're still sitting there. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop and check, because I have business I need to take care of too. But as I take off, it looks like to me that the boater has his head around the steering wheel like he's laying on it, and my dad is rubbing his head like he's pissed. Okay? Now,
So now you for sure
That's-
don't want to stop.
that's what I saw. Okay? Now you tell me what happened that morning at takeoff.
Well, going back to the first day, I'd fished with this guy, and he had motor problems. And he told me ahead. He said, "I've got motor problems. I might have to stop and change plugs on my old motor, but we're going to go through the passway and go over to
Barkley.
The cut through over to Barkley.
Mr.
Bar-
Bartley."
Barkley.
Now,
Yep.
did you hear what he said? The guy had motor troubles, and he would stop every so many miles and put fresh plugs in his motor to get to where he needed to go. And they
Yeah.
went to Barkley in it.
Oh my
and
gosh.
when we
An
got
05
over
18 Ranger
there,
is awesome.
he had a bag of Bass Pro black and red flake tubes,
100 pack.
100-pack.
Yep.
He laid it out on the deck, and he had 4 or 5 jigs, and that's what he fished with. But we fished brush in backs of cuts and stuff,
The buck brush in the ends. Yep.
and in an hour, he had a limit, and so did I.
And he was a top 10 angler that first day, too.
I can't remember his name, but he was a great guy.
I can look
I
it
helped
up.
him change plugs and stuff, and it was kind of cool, you know. And we was catching fish, and man, I was all excited. We crippled ourselves back in our sorry ass boat, and you know, it was all good. The next day, I draw this guy, and when we take off, when he gets through the buoys, he says, and I believe in God. I believe God has a place. I believe in fish gods. I believe they look down on you and help you." This guy stopped and prayed to either the fish gods or our real
He
God
said, Dion, he
for 15 minutes.
he said, I have to pray. And he said, excuse me? He said, we've got to pray.
I went, "What?" I said, "Can't you pray when we get to where we're going?"
I think he actually, the word you said was, you could have prayed before we took off.
That's
you know?
right.
No.
Been
you
sitting there
gotta-
for an hour before
He's got to
takeoff.
pray at event
Honest
time.
to God.
He did. They
He
shut
said-
down. He put his head on the steering wheel, so you see me driving by. His head's down. He's in prayer, man.
I said,
Oh my
I
gosh.
said, "Son,
Yeah, it's
I am in
awesome.
6th place.
We got to
Let's go. I don't care where you go." And
Oh, it's funny.
you know, I told him, I said, "This is what I was doing." So he said, "Well, we're going to go over there." And what he did, he gets his Carolina rig out, and,
Oh,
and yeah.
They're fishing
and
bug
he-
brush. He goes
oh.
Carolina rigging on points.
So we got into this little cut somehow, and I take my tube and I throw it so hard and far that it drops over, and there's a lay down, and as soon as it hits, it goes down. It goes, and I said, and he's so far away, I can't get a good hook set. This great big old fish jumps 2 or 3 times, and the kid kind of looks at me and goes, "Well, that was a pretty good one." I said, "Yeah, you asshole. Get up there, in there, and let's catch some fish." He wouldn't do it.
oh my
So
gosh.
I said, "Okay, well, I'm going to pray to the gods now that something else happens."
Yeah,
And it
the,
did.
The storms blew in.
The
Oh.
storm blew in,
You know those Kentucky storms.
Oh.
Yeah.
and it was literally stirring up the bottom of Barkley.
Oh,
And I went back in with no fish.
Oh.
And
6 to
This-
75th. Yeah.
uh,
But I was like, so we get back in, we go to
It
the
was
hotel.
ugly.
We were staying at the Moores Resort, which I love that place. And I was like, you know what, you guys break down? He's like, no. We didn't break down.
we were praying.
He needed to
Woo.
pray. And I said, what do you mean? I said, you were there a long time. He's like, yeah, he had a lot to pray about. I'm like, all right,
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
that's cool. So yeah, like you said, nothing against it. But you ever seen that one?
No, sir. No.
It
I've
just-
had people pray in the boat with me.
Yeah.
You know, for
Beforehand.
for obvious reasons, but sometimes during the boat ride. But still,
That's right.
Still, there's plenty of other time to get that accomplished.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys
Accomplished.
didn't show up 5 minutes before takeoff. I
Oh,
mean, you were there for an
no.
hour.
They've been
waiting
there a
around.
while. I mean, you
Oh,
know how that
yeah.
is. Everybody gets there early.
Back in the day when they filled the field, we all had to.
You had to be
Sign
there.
up
yeah.
Did
early.
he think that was a better place to pray on the outside of the buoys?
Yeah.
That was his plan.
I think
was
he had
too
to
much
get into-
cluster. God was getting confused
I think
over the 200 boats. Oh, there's a lot of prayers coming from there.
I think Dion, he had to get into the playing field and then engage.
Ah,
That's what I think. You had to get past the
Ooh.
barrier and into the game. Now we're in the game. Now we're gonna play.
It's a good
Now-
thing you didn't tell us that, and me and my dad wasn't there to know it, because everybody in the world would have known that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
watch that dude. He's gonna stop and pray right
Oh
here.
no! Hey, that's the good one. It gets better.
Oh, it's
It
worse.
gets better.
There's worse
Yeah.
days than that.
Hey, we
Oh,
don't know.
yeah.
Let's go to Pickwick.
Let's go to
Lake.
Pickwick
Oh.
Lake, shall we? So, Pickwick Lake on day 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
I
you
don't
gotta
blame-
stop. No, day one.
I don't blame you for quitting.
Day one was the best one. Remember when we would draw and you had to go find your partner
Yeah.
and
Alright,
they'd
so-
come out of the crowd? My draw the first day at Pickwick
Was Joe Bennett?
was Joe Bennett.
Oh.
That's
And
a good draw. Back
hard to
because he
find.
was
When,
he was
yeah.
whacking
when
them
I
back in
came through
2000.
the
He was-
crowd, he grabbed my skinny ass up and hugged me, and he said, "Oh my God, Ed," he said, "I was hoping that was you because I've got this plan." And his plan was we ran like 14 miles
downstream.
downstream, away
downstream.
from the dam, and he fished this stump cove, little
Back
stump,
up. No, he found a creek.
little creek,
But
but
he had
we
to
were
run-
fishing stumps,
Yeah.
and
he had to run over shallow water to get to the hole.
and he had his weight figured exactly, and he
So
says
he
to
didn't
me,
want.
"What did you weigh?" I said,
Oh
I-
yeah.
I weigh 154 pounds. He said, "Oh, thank God." He said, "I thought I was going to have to run with less gas." I mean, Joe Bennett.
What
Yeah.
would he's a giant. He's
Yeah,
very big.
He's a big guy.
guy.
Back then he was a big guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
But
couldn't
he
have done
didn't-
it if he got a guy like you.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got it, but he knew that he wouldn't get past skinny water with a big guy in the boat.
So
plus
we
water weight,
roll-
live well,
we
plus
roll
his
up
fish
there.
weight.
it's all good. He breaks out this white double willow spinner bait, and he says, "You got to bounce them off."
What
the
were those
stumps."
called? Joe B's?
Yeah.
Joe B.
Joby's. Yeah,
spinnerbaits.
Joby's.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And we both catch a nice limit in like an hour. And here I said again. And Joe says, "Well, let's go on back." He said, "I want to save my fish." I said, "That's fine." I said, "I'm good."
Yeah.
Which is what
So-
they do, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's
So
more
we
left.
went
We're leaving.
back. We went in between the barges and stuff, and it was all good. We go in the next. It wasn't even the next day. That night, when they drawed, I get a guy on.
No. Back up. They don't draw the second day. When you go behind the trailer, there's a piece of paper taped to the trailer
Yep.
with a phone number. So you call the guy and it's like, "Where you at?" And he's like, "I'm over here." And he goes, meets him up. Okay.
My guy
So,
says, "Well,
Proceed.
I got boat problem, and I'm going to be in a borrowed boat tomorrow." And I thought, well, that's okay.
Who cares, right?
I said, I don't, you know,
Makes no difference to you.
I was in like,
That's right.
I was like in 10th or 12th place, pretty good shape for a co. And meet the guy the next morning. What does this son of a bitch do?
No, he didn't pray.
No.
This guy didn't pray.
He gets in the boat, and when you go towards the dam to Pickwick, there's an island
Yep.
on
Well,
the
let's
left
back
side.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know
No,
exactly.
so if
Little Rock Island.
anybody's never fished Pickwick, and I have to kind of paint the picture here. If you ever read articles about Pickwick Lake and the smallmouth fishery that it is, which is a very tremendous smallmouth fishery at times, there is a place that they call the Horseshoe. Now, there is a lock that runs through one side,
Yep.
and then there's an area that's kind of a curved area where those fish congregate. There's a lot of big boulders and chunk rocks, and it's called the Horseshoe. Right next to it is an island, and on the other side is the discharge for the dam. So kind of we all paint a picture.
Current
You can see
can
that.
flow 15 mile an hour right there.
Yeah.
Correct. So, the island in the middle, proceed.
The asshole noses his boat up on the end of the island,
He drives.
banks it, gets out his cell phone. He said, "This is where we're going to fish today."
He beaches the boat, Dion.
He
On the back of that
beached
island.
The boat. He gets his cell phone out, starts talking on his cell phone to his company or whatever,
He went to work.
and the son of a bitch is eating fried chicken out of a bag,
At
throwing
9
the bones over.
At 9 o'clock in the morning, by the time they get going, he puts the bow of the boat on the upstream, and there was water running. He says, "You can fish the tailwaters behind this island. I'm going to work today." And he gets out leftover chicken from the night before. He says, "I'm out of it, so here you go." They
Oh
spent,
my gosh.
They spent
But you
the
know what
entire
happens when a
day
co-angler bitches
there.
back then? They
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
well, why don't you go get yourself a boat
Yeah.
and
And that did
fishing-
happen. That was the Jerry Stakely story I told last week.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man. Jerry
So-
would have walked away with a red
but
nose.
anyway,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'd have
yeah.
busted him right in the nose.
Oh,
when he
yeah, that
said
was good
that.
stuff.
well, I didn't want to get crossways because James was fishing the pro side.
Oh my gosh.
You know, so I just went. But
See, you don't
what
hear
I
those, do
did-
you?
what I did to the asshole and it really made me happy was when it was time to go check in, he pulls the boat off and he lets it drift down the river.
Which you could drift all the way to takeoff.
That's right.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's what he did.
That's what he did. I fooled him. I took a Carolina rig out, a double ringer worm, and I caught a keeper
Nice.
fish.
One keeper.
So he had to walk
One.
up
He
to the
had to
weigh-in.
go- yeah.
He said,
So-
I'm not doing it. Oh,
so-
I said,
Oh,
"The
yeah, you
hell
are.
Yes, you
with
are.
That's
Yes,
right.
you are.
You get
Yep.
your ass in
That's
that
right.
line. You sign my ticket.
That's right.
You
So,
do that, and
in
I
the
don't
day,
ever want to see your face again.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
and just so to paint a picture so people understand, back then, I don't know if it still is now because I haven't fished a tournament in a while, like that, if you caught a fish to weigh, either the co-angler and the angler had to go and weigh them together.
you have to sign
And
the
you
weigh-in
signed
slip.
off the other guy's ticket to verify that he caught the fish. That's what keeps
Yep.
everything
keeps it-
on the up
keeps
and up.
everything on the up and up.
So he catches this 15-inch fish, and he's like, "We're going to weigh."
Absolutely.
And he's like, "Dude, you're out of it." And he's like, "No, no, no, no. You're gonna stand in line with me, and we're gonna go through this
That's
some bitch,
right.
and you're gonna weigh this fish." So
Yeah.
he comes off the stage. I'm like, "Hey, did you struggle?" Now that's the same tournament when I had the gal
I'm
whoop my
surprised he
ass.
didn't slap you.
Do you remember? Do you
Did
remember?
I struggle?
And if you guys go back and look at some old episodes, that's the tournament where I had a Bass and Gals school me on holding me out, and she caught a limit of Kentucky's off one of the tail ends, and I had no idea what I was doing. So every time I get her back there, she's catching another one. I'm like positioning the boat, and she's catching another one. I get her, reposition the boat, and she fleeces me on the back of the boat. That
My
same
wife
tournament.
did that to me one time.
I know,
In a Tuesday nighter.
but you
Yeah.
let her because
Yeah,
you have
I did.
to.
I did.
So I get my ass fleeced because I'm learning how to fish. Because at that level, it's all different. And then I come off and I'm like struggling. I'm like, "Hey, did you have struggle day 2?" He's like, "No, I didn't." He said, "As a matter of fact, where's Stakely?" And he's like red faced and he's like, "I'm gonna choke somebody out." So he goes up there and he's like, "You know what?" He said, This guy beached the boat. He ate chicken all day on the phone. He worked. We didn't even get to fish. And the one chance I got to fish, he catches one. He makes me, he's like, I have 100,000 plus in boats and equipment for my son, and you got to do something. And Stakely says, "You need to buy 2 sets. You need to be a pro if you don't like it."
I've heard him give that.
And I was
same-
like, "Whoa!"
I've heard him give that conversation before to people.
And he
Like,
just
well,
got-
you just need to
and-
put up more money.
I watch him get all red, and just kind of deflate, and he's just like, "Let's go." And about that time, I think you were done. No more fishing on the coast side.
No, I fished with one more guy,
Which is a good one.
which was a good
Yep,
one.
That's the good side. He did get to fish with
Craig
Powers.
Oh,
He drew
yeah.
Craig on Rayburn, and
Yep.
Craig put on a clinic,
Yep.
and it was
Well,
good stuff.
that was a good story.
Yeah.
I drew him first, and the wind was blowing. We had, how Rayburn can get pretty big, but he said, "I've been driving over the bridge. There was a bridge and a little point from the way in."
Can
And
I?
he's
Let me just.
yeah,
I got to paint the picture for everybody, because you got to tell the
I
story
know.
because this is podcast, huh? So Dion has fished it a bunch. I've been on it a bunch. You've been on it a bunch. So to paint a picture, Rayburn has 2 big long arms that go up each end, and where the 2 arms meet, there's a dam at the bottom.
Yep.
There's one single island in front of that dam. So when you drive over the dam, you can see that little island out there. Now, there's islands all over Rayburn, but there's one very specific island where the 2 arms run down and they meet right there at the dam. So Craig says to Dad, "I've been driving over and staring at this island all week long."
and there's current running, there's water moving. I believe I can catch a fish there, and we're going to start there. I said, Craig, I'm just along for the ride. I told him that. I
Yeah.
said, my son's fishing.
I want to have
Do
some
whatever.
fun.
I want to have some fun. Now, he had
Not realizing it was Craig
Red
Powers.
Bulls and Snickers laying in the floor of his boat, rolling around.
Yeah.
Right. Snicker bars and whole.
Snicker bars and
Snicker
Red
bowls.
Bulls. And so he was wired up.
Yeah.
But when we got to that point,
Of course, we didn't know he was on cocaine at the time.
Yeah.
he breaks
No,
out.
but anyway, that's.
Yeah, he breaks
I
out
don't
this
think he didn't
3,700
do cocaine,
box.
did he?
Huh?
He didn't do cocaine, did he?
No.
Well, that's later on in life.
Later on, in
Later
life,
on
yeah.
in
Maybe
life.
at that time, maybe he didn't, but
I love him to death.
he was a high-strung
Yeah,
guy.
Yes.
And
You
so,
know,
and we
he
all
changed
have
a
demons.
lower, He changed
Anyway.
a lower
The
unit
Red-
on one of your boats
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
time.
the
At
Red
Kentucky
the
Lake.
Red Bull
Yeah.
stuff was that was everyday
Kentucky,
deal.
Yeah.
Kentucky
that's
Lake, and just to interrupt the story, I blew a lower unit also. I blew a power head one day, lower unit the next. So I go back, and service trailers were amazing back then, which
Yeah.
was a a tip for everyone out there, which is different today than it was back then. But back then, you had to have a boat under warranty, and it had to be the motor that the tournament sponsored because they brought a repair trailer there. So if you broke down, they fixed you.
You could get going.
And it was under warranty, and you were back on the water within a few hours.
Yep.
That particular year, the Kentucky was way down, and everybody broke everything. So I was like 12th in line. And so Powers is running up, and he's like, "What are you doing?" You know, that was post Rayburn because
Yeah.
we all got to know each other, and it's a family. You know, it is.
Yeah.
When you're a road gypsy fishing, that's what I call it, fishing gypsies. You all get to know each
Everybody
other.
helps out.
Yeah. So he's rolling up. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" I said, "I blew a lower unit." He's like, "Well, why are you waiting in line?" I said, "Because I get another lower unit." He's like, "Hold on." And he goes down. He goes and steals tools and comes back up, and he starts wrenching off the lower unit. He's like, "I can take this shit off."
Two wrenches.
Yeah, he's
you're
like,
done.
they can put it back on when you get there, but let's get this thing going.
Yeah.
So he's yanking it off. So it's kind of cool. You know, this is like this is a pro guy that should be back at the house, restringing, getting done now. He's yanking a guy who's 175th. He's ranking his lower unit off. He's like, "You got to get you back on. We all go home together." You know, it's cool.
That's right.
So at Rayburn, they take off. They're going to have a good time. He says, "I want to fish this island."
I said, okay. He breaks out a 3700 box, and at that point, I realized what a pro really was. No disrespect to you, Mr. Unorganized. Throw everything on your dash.
I've seen
Yeah.
Craig's box.
He had
Yes.
Norman crankbaits.
Deep little ends. Okay, so you can look that up.
All of one color filling this box up, but they all were different sizes. And he opened that box up and he looked at it and he said, "I believe this one will work." And he plucks it out, he ties it on, he makes one cast
Thank you, Paul.
and loads up and he catches like a 7.2.
He did
And-
on the first cast,
Yeah.
seven
And
like
he
a
said-
7.2.
He said, "We didn't talk about net." And I said, "Don't you worry, you just get him up here and I'll get the net." And I netted him for him, and he caught a really nice limit that day.
But here's
And
we got to back.
I had a decent limit, but we switched from that then to lizard fishing on boat ramps.
Wait, but you kind of skipped it. He took that little end, he threw it out there, and he caught that fish off the point, and he said, "Let's go."
Yeah.
He never threw it again. He packed it up.
That was it.
You ever seen that?
Why?
I don't know.
I would have.
You know, I asked Dad. I said
for the next day.
he said he never threw again. It was day one of the tournament. He never threw again. He caught that big fish and they reeled it up, and he left.
Yeah, we bounced across the lake in them waves and went into some cuts on the other side and fished lizards on ramps after that.
You got to understand, Dion. You know, this is why we have this podcast, because there are things that I don't understand.
Yeah, I wouldn't have understood that. No.
Yeah. But maybe, maybe the dominant fish theory and where fish live, and we talk about it a lot. Maybe Craig knew that's where that big fish would have been, and there wasn't going to be two.
Huh.
And he took it and rolled. Now we both know that Rayburn, that's not a big fish.
No,
A
but
7.2 is not a big fish for Rayburn.
and they're never standing alone.
And he left.
There might have been a whole herd of them
left.
big
And he
bastards
left.
there.
But
I'll
we
be
had,
darned.
We had an
One
absolutely
cast, one
wonderful
fish,
day.
and left, and then picked up a Texas rig Magnum Lizard
Yep.
and started working the buckbrush over in the Black Forest area.
Ah.
And he was focused. He found ramps and transitions, and that's where he caught his limit. Never
Well,
went back.
There you go.
Isn't that wild?
That is a little
And,
wild.
So
I
the-
don't even remember who I drew the second day.
but you ended up catching them that day with Craig.
yeah,
Huh.
That's where I lost the biggest fish of my life there.
No, that was
Because
big.
I saw it, and and I don't mean to get into Dad's thunder here, but I'd never finished a tournament without breaking something on that Evinrude, and that tournament was the ECM, had a bad ECM, and we found one at one of the local dealers, but they had to flash it and program it, so that tournament they said don't go any more than a few miles so you can troll home. So just right around the corner from Takeoff, there was a couple islands around there, and I threw out, and this is so old school, because
grass beds.
yeah, there was the inside. I don't know if we've talked about inside and outside of grass lines, but
Yeah.
so the grass was out a little, and the fish were on the outside grass line, and then I found a spot where there was the grass line, and then had a drop off and a hump. So I threw a marker buoy on the hump, which and again, this is kind of old school because I don't think anybody even uses that anymore.
Yeah.
But I found the hump on my graph, and it's basically a float with a cord on it and a weight, and I threw it over there and marked the buoy. And I was fishing the outside grass line. Occasionally, I'd throw over and throw on that hump. So I threw on the hump, and I had a guy. I can't remember his name, but the guy. Folks, you think I can talk? You think Dion can talk? You think my dad can talk? This guy was a chatterbox. I mean, he was just like, I had to do this, I had to do that. I grew up in East Minnesota, and I have 3 kids, and one's 75 years old, and he can, and so he just kept talking and talking and talking. So finally, I make this big long cast on this hump, and it was and we talked about it. I was fishing what was called a Bonnard bass rig. I don't know if you remember those or not, but it was a bullet weight they drilled out and had a chain through it. And you could so I tied it off like a Carolina rig, and I had a French fry on the end. And the whole concept was you throw it through the grass, and when you pull it through, that chain and that weight would separate the grass open, and that French fry would wiggle up through it, and the bass would come out, and it was like super cool. So I was fishing it. I was tired of dredging the grass, so I turned around and fling it on the island. And as it's sinking, this guy is just like yakking. I don't even know what it was, but it's like yakking. And the conversation was going to be, I was going to turn to him and say, just for 1 minute, could you shut your effing mouth? Okay? Because I mean, I'd had enough.
Give me 2 minutes break.
Yeah, I can't even take this shit anymore. So question time. Okay, I'm sorry. A French fry is an old term for a worm that's about 4 inches long.
It's a know-nothing looking.
It's ribbed
piece of crap.
And it has a
that
flat
will catch
side
a fish.
on it. So it looks like a French fry.
Yes.
But it's a rubber worm about 4 inches long. You Texas rig it, and it had up about 12 to 13 inches, and had an egg sinker and a chain that ran through it. So when you pull the chain through, it had a big ring eye on the other end to catch the weight, and you could pull it through that way. So it's sinking. I threw it out there, and it's sinking to the bottom. And I turned around, and I said, for just 1 minute, could you? And before I could get that, I felt my arm getting pulled out, like twisting me.
That's one of those deals like God did that for
Yeah.
you.
So
okay.
When I went to swing, I look as gangly and stupid as I am right now. I kind of went like this and went to swing, and I hit it. It stopped and pulled me back. And I went, oh, shit. And I turned around, and I started reeling, and it's making, and if anybody's ever caught a big bass, they're smart. They're very smart. This fish is doing the big wide pass. He's going around the island, and he is heading right for the grass. I mean, he's going in it. So I'm reeling as fast as I can with my 3/8-to-1 Bass Pro tourney special, and I can't keep up with it because he's going so fast, and he's heading to the grass. And I'm wanting to turn him, but I don't even know if I even got him anymore. I'm trying to catch it, and I'm like, holy shit! And I see him, and the water was really clear, and you could see him heading to the grass. And I get him, and he turns. I got him, and he's hooked, and he makes this pass around, and I realize the guy has stopped talking, and he is on my shoulder. He has his hand on my shoulder with a net, and he's going, easy.
Yeah. All of a sudden,
and I'm like, all of a sudden, then this guy's calm. He's talking like I am right now. He's like, hey, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, just stay calm.
Easy, big fella.
You got him. He's a big fish. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, it's a big fish. Now, as fish stories grow over 20 years, he comes around to the back of the boat, and I'm pulling, and my drag is spinning, and I have my thumb on. He's pulling my drag because I have a $35 catalog outlet special reel. And if anybody's ever been to Bass Pro at Springfield, Missouri, they used to have the catalog outlet. You go in there and they refurb reels. And your dad told me, he's like, hey, just go down there and buy like 15 of all the same reel. That way, when you pick one up, they're all the same. You don't,
That's right.
and you save a lot of money. Some of them are shitty, and this one was really bad.
If you make the wrong choice.
Yeah, I picked up the wrong rod with the wrong reel, and he was like spinning off drag, and I'm like trying to reel it, and it's like he's doing everything in the world that could go wrong. He comes to the boat. He's coming to the boat. I'm like, this is great. And as he comes to the boat, and I swear on the health of my children, this is what this fish did. He rolled upside down. I had never seen that in my life. This fish went like this and rolled at the boat. Now, when he rolled, I could see his belly. And when it did, that bait went, boop. Now, from my memory, Dion, if you've ever been in a 520 Ranger from anywhere from the years of 2000 to 2000 and whatever, the cleat is about where you tie off to your boat is about what 4 feet from the bow,
Yeah, probably.
3 feet from the bow. This fish filled the area in between it. In my mind, he might not have been that big, but then he was 35-pound black bass. Probably he was 10.
Yes.
He was 10 to 15 somewhere there, but he was the biggest fish ever.
Yeah.
And he rolled, and my fish, it came loose, wasn't even close to netting him, and he just went like this. Nice try, son. And he just eased back off.
He told you, nice try. Oh my
He
God.
did. And when I wake up in the middle of the night, still 25 years later, I'm like, oh, Raymer, 2000. He swam off. So yeah, it was a monster. And then, so I wanted to go back and share everybody like how big this fish was. And then some chick as a co-angler weighed in like a 13.6. And I was like, yeah, shit, don't matter.
No need to brag.
Don't even need to brag about
Don't
that.
even need to
Something
talk
never
about
happened.
The biggest,
So yeah.
the biggest bass I ever caught in my life in a tournament was on Lake Toho, the year that Dean Rojas broke all the records. And the last day of the tournament, now I had been catching about 15, 16 pounds a day, which was pretty good. I was in the money good. And at that point in time, my track record in Florida for the first tournament of the season, not great. A lot of times I'd walk away out of there and be almost in the triple digits. So my wife and all 3 of my kids have had the puking, throwing up, crapping disease for pretty much 4 days. And
You threw up crap and disease?
oh, it was bad. It was bad. They were all sick.
What disease did you have?
It was bad. I didn't have it. I
Diffuse
did
of the
not have it.
blowhole?
I was the only
Creeping
one. I was the
epizooty.
only one in our condo
creeping
that was not
epizooty.
puking and crapping steadily. And I was trying to stay away from them best I could. I didn't want them to die, but I knew I needed to fish. And my mom and dad actually were not fishing in the tournament, and they came over from where they were at in Florida just to sit with them. Well, I made it through the first 3 days of the deal, catching about 15, 16 pounds a day. Well, Dean Rojas is catching 40 pounds a frickin' day off the bed spawning. I love to do that as well as anybody. And I told my wife, I said, well, if I don't have them by noon, I'll lock down and I'll go catch my 16 pounds and I'll be done. Well, needless to say, that day, I draw the perfect partner. I draw a 15-year-old observer. Young guy, lived right there, not going to fish because he's an observer, which you don't have during the spawn time of the year ever. You've always got a co-angler back there that's slinging right at you, the same fish you're throwing at. And so I thought, perfect day. I'm going to go catch them off the bed today, just like these guys are pummeling us. Well, needless to say, we get out there and we get to fishing. I look at my watch and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I got 2. And when I say 2, the 2 might weigh 2.5 pounds between the 2 of them. And I'm thinking, holy crap, my wife is going to frickin' kill me. I done told her, if I ain't got it by noon, I'll lock down and I'll catch my 15 pounds. Needless to say, I see a little spot in the grass where I hadn't seen a boat, and there's boats everywhere because everybody wants to catch a big one off the bed. There's boats frickin' everywhere and they're milling around and I'm trying to avoid everybody, but I'm still trying my butt off. I'm all the way down to a little bitty tube, 10-pound line, just like Guido Hibden would do all over the world. And I'm in the jungle. I'm in grass, to where my trolling motor won't barely go. I see this hole over in the grass, and there's a little boat dock sitting in it. And I thought, I've been here for 3 hours, and I've not seen a boat go to that hole in the grass. So, 250 Evan Root, I get her on plane, and I'm like, I'm going to that hole. Don't matter what happens, I'm getting in that hole. I let her off plane, get in the hole, and I start around this hole, and there's this little boat dock, and there's floating grass everywhere. And I was in there for about 10 minutes, and I get back to the boat dock, and I see this thing, and I thought, that ain't no bass. And I just make another cast, and then I thought, holy crap, that's a bass. And I turn around and look at my partner. My partner is laying down in the seat. And just like the underside of his gullet here was sunburned. That's how long he slept. But I looked at that fish and I thought, holy crap,
Which
That's-
is the best partner to have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's odd.
A sleeping partner.
For catching one on the bed. That's a
Perfect.
perfect partner. And I look at it, and when it turned, it was like a submarine swapping ends. I thought, holy crap, that's the biggest damn bass I've ever seen
He
in
had
my
to back
life.
up to turn around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He had to move, and the grass heaped up over him. And I turned around and I seen that kid laying there, and we could use dip nets. I see that kid sitting there, and I thought, well, dip net's laying right there by him. I guess if I hook it, I can tell him, and we'll get the net, and everything will be fine. But just like you were saying there, he's been out of my hair and everything, and I make a little backhand cast over there to the fish, and the fish, it went over his head and up on a little patch of grass, and it was like a scene out of Jaws. The fish raised up and ate everything, ate the grass, the
grass,
bait,
the lure,
everything.
all of it.
And then I looked at my rod, and I mean, I literally looked at my rod, and I thought, that's 10-pound line. That's the dumbest thing I ever done in my life. But I thought, we're trying him, and I pulled into him, and when I pulled into him, this fish swaps ends. At no time did I hear this kid move, flinch, or nothing. But the first thing I know, here's the dip net right by my face. It's like a badminton racket. He's standing up
That's
there
right.
holding it like this, shaking. I mean,
Yeah.
I said, hey, dude, calm down. He says, that's the biggest bass I've ever seen. I said, okay, calm down. let's ease up, with the dip net. And then the next thing I know, the dip net's over here. And I'm like, dude, settle down. He's making a little twist. And the old big bass, and every time it twists, it's this tall
Yeah, you
up
can
and
see
down.
it's thick.
It's
yeah.
gigantic. And I said, calm down, or lay the dip net down and go lay back down. One of the two. But, yeah, and we dipped it up, got it in the boat. It weighed 11.2, and I weighed it in.
Wasn't that one?
That one was
I-
a tournament.
Yeah, that one wasn't in a tournament. I weighed it in, and 10 minutes later, I caught another one over 10 pounds, and I weighed in two that weighed, well, I had four because I had two little keepers, and I got to the weigh-in, and my wife says, well, did you get them? And I said, I got four. And my sons at that time were about this tall, and they'd been sick, and Lawson clumb up in the live well, jerked the live well in, and he turned around and he said, yeah, Mom, but one of them could eat me. I said, yep. I said, we covered the 16-pound mark just fine. And I weighed in, like, say, two giants and two little bitty ones that weighed 25 something,
Jeez.
But,
Nice.
but oh, yeah, the badminton racket. I mean, this kid came to life. I never seen him move, never seen him flinch. When I turned around after I hooked the fish, I thought, that's some bitch sleep, But before the fish even moved, he was standing up there. He wasn't coaching me like your guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could have took that easy, big fella,
Yeah, it was.
easy.
Yeah, he was like like coaching me like I was a dog.
I
Like,
never
you know,
had
easy,
anbunch coach me.
Easy.
I always just had a bunch of
It's-
assholes.
The only other one I've got, and I can share it later, but
What?
it was
Are we going to tell more fishing stories?
only about the guy that was co-angling on the boat that ate
We
raw
don't
cabbage
need to
and
hear
farted
your
all day
fishing
long.
stories
Yeah.
because yours are all dreadful.
Hey, but
Mine
you know
are
what?
dreadful.
Every
It
one of
doesn't
them's been
matter 'cause
terrible.
we're out of time anyway.
You haven't
That's-
had a
already
good
used
one.
the hour?
That's episode 1. You have to come back next week.
We've
We'll get-
already used the hour.
We've already used the hour.
What did you have planned for this hour?
He had look, he's got
What
antique
did you-
lures.
What did you
He's
think
got-
was going to happen on your initial deal on the show?
See, he thinks he can bring his own props and show his way,
I
but
have my own props.
now he's got to do it again.
I mean,
Look at this.
and the reason I say that,
I don't know. Hang on a minute. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me pull this over here. Make sure you can see it. There you go.
let me get it close. Look at that.
Yeah. That's a little fish.
That's a little fish.
There you go.
There we go.
That's Mr. Guido. He's got his Lucky Strike shirt.
That
on there.
was the Missouri Buddy Bass Championship tournament that they held out of. That's good. You can put it down. I want to see my face.
I wanted to see my own face.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Guido and I were the best friends. We never fished together. We went to dinner
Yeah, that's why
with
you
our
stayed friends.
wives.
That's
Very
why.
good.
Very good. You guys will love this. And we talked about how ignorant our boys were
Daily.
daily
Daily,
about
yeah.
the stupid shit they would do, but we never fished together. That tournament, I walked up there and I told him, I said, please do not embarrass me. And that's when he grinned at me with that big grin that he always did. And he said, "Why?" I said, "This is the only frickin' fish I've got. But I'm weighing it because you are the weighmaster." And then the next picture was after he didn't embarrass me.
He let you hug him. Kind of weird.
He let me hug him because because he
Down.
didn't embarrass me. So
Nice.
those are two of my favorite pictures.
Dion won't let anybody hug anybody.
I hug Dion every time I see him.
I know we
Me and
hug off camera. It's more
me
fun.
and your
Yeah.
me and your dad hug all the time. What's the deal?
Well, that's-
Maybe it's you. Maybe
Well,
you're the
maybe
one that
it's
doesn't.
I hug you.
Maybe you're not the
I don't
huggy
like
one.
hugging
Hey.
either one of you.
I hug
There
you
you go.
because you're one of my Rickies. And
That's
we're not
right.
going to
Oh,
go
yeah,
any
no,
further.
right.
doing the
We're
Ricky
not going to
story
go
tonight.
into that.
Doing the
But
Ricky story tonight.
So
Rick-
anyway,
Ricky will be for
I want-
episode 2.
I wanted to share that picture because that was one of my very favorite pictures. And, you know,
Well,
Guido was my bud.
We'll do that for the inductee tonight. We'll take one of those pictures, we'll frame it, we'll hang it up in the Liars and Legends Club tonight. How about that?
There
You
we
donate
go.
one off?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We'd hang them both up if
All
you
right, we'll do
want. I
that.
don't care.
So, in
I've
case,
saved them because that was probably, he was pretty chubby there.
Yeah.
He was. That's probably 15
was-
years ago.
Yeah, he was
no,
still in
it
good
wasn't
shape.
15.
He
It's
wasn't-
probably 20.
Maybe 20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he
been a
wasn't
while.
sick then. He was in good shape.
Yeah.
So anyway, for those that don't know, Dad's an astute antique lure collector, and we should come back next week. You want to come back and do it again next week?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
what you
Let's just
should.
continue it next
Yeah.
week. We'll go to part 2, and we'll get into antique lures. We'll stump the chump. We'll do a lot of things there. We'll talk about the immense amount of crap he's got piled up around here, and why the Legends and Liars, between his trophies, your junk, and my knowledge, why it's so cool. So that's all I got. You got anything, D?
No, I'm tickled to death.
Hey, thanks, Lloyd.
I think it went
Hey,
great.
the microphones work tonight. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. So thanks for that. Yeah, exactly. So what do you think? Thanks for everybody that shows up again tonight. If you like the show, make sure you tell your friends to get on YouTube, subscribe, like our page, all the stuff that all the influencers always say. And we'll see you next week for part 2.
When I grow up, I want to be just like Lloyd.
What's that? A native Indian that can't hear?
Yeah. Yeah.
All
At
right.
87 years old,
All right.
85. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
good.
got 10
You already
years on
did.
me.
You don't listen. Oh my God. I got a fan of one of the guys. I'm not going to mention who it is, Chief. But he's like, did you make sure you thank Lloyd for being a sponsor? I'm like, yeah, this is the microphones that we're using. I said, hey, thanks for buying them. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, we mentioned that. So yeah,
But you
that's
gotta
all
think-
good.
I mean,
So,
you gotta
hey,
think June,
so-
June 2 at Hiawatha
Same
Beach.
time tomorrow at 6. Same time Wednesday
Wednesday.
at
yeah.
6
No
o'clock.
shameless plug.
We have no plugs. We're at the Legends and Liars Club.
Legends and Liars and
come
Lloyd
in,
and June.
have a pizza, drink a beer, go to Hiawatha Beach, and we'll see you next week at Cindy for part
That's right.
2, Wednesday 6 o'clock for Real Unfiltered Talk. From all of us here, thanks a bunch. It's cold. We'll talk a little fishing. We'll talk a little bit of fishing, actually. The water temperature's dropping. Things are changing. We'll get into that pattern, too. We'll talk about fishing a little bit. Then we'll get into antique lures next week. Stay tuned. Come back and see us again. And
Your
we'll
tournament
see you.
stories are terrible.
I
You're
know.
never getting invited back for that.
We'll get to the
I
good
got it
ones.
out of the way.
You-
right
you're
up
gonna
front.
you're gonna have to.
Because he
I
was
love
gonna
it, though.
He was going to dredge that shit up
You're,
anyway.
you're gonna have to bring
So
something.
we get it all out of the way
with
first.
the antique stuff.
We'll talk about cool stuff next week.
Everybody
All right.
will feel
All right,
sorry
guys.
about me next week.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Hello.
Oh my God, that hour
Hello?
goes